And single shines the triple sun. What was sundered and undone shall be whole, the two make one. By Gelfling hand, or else by none. By Gelfling hand? Do you know what that means, Kira?
Wait. This is a piece of the dark crystal.
Then that's what my master meant.
Yes.
Peace, peace. Now it's the vibrate. Y'all know what it is. Just want to share this channeled information. Before getting into it, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna, well, I can say this, if you listen to it with your heart and not your ego, you will get the message of, what I'm saying. And it's basically refining a lot of things I've mentioned already. It's basically like synchronizing and refining some of the insight and just, putting it all in this one spot using a certain analogy that I've used already in essence before, but just a little different, And it came to me, from realizing like in my psychedelic journeys, I never came across any named deities or gods in essence. The closest I came to something that had a name in essence was quote unquote these reptilian, energies or entities, I should say. And also like in essence you could say like a primordial mother energy, you know what I'm saying? Like a divine mother type of energy, was present. Now, the first times I did experience a quote-unquote Orisha on one of my journeys, or, a deity, Orisha, Lawa, was the Legba energy. But, the thing with that, though, was I didn't see or pick up on that energy until I started having what some may call, bad trips, or those tough trips, or, those ones where they seem pretty dark or grim in essence, you know what I'm saying? So that was pretty interesting, you know what I'm saying? Like, now when I was, again, like meditating a lot, eating healthy, in that more, true essence of, unconditionally loving myself and not giving a fuck what people think, again, I never came across any named deities, and even from the beginning, learning that, being a no thing on the human experience, that form of existence predates, any name, because if something has a name, if it has a born date, then it has an expiration date, Now, in the essence, again, of being a no thing or no thing on the human experience, no thing or nothing, the void, that space that's quote unquote said to be in the atom, that exists before anything with a name, So just keeping that in perspective. And this also goes into the analogy of this, this realm for when our bodysuit, It's like a prism of light, or a prison, or, and being in the matrix, or, this simulation is like, being in a jailhouse. Now, as I bring up that analogy, that's not to say it's good or bad, in which I'll get into that later, as far as, you could turn your jailhouse experience, into something pleasant, as pleasant as it can be, in a jailhouse full of other inmates, that may not be on the same wavelength, or the same, dimension in essence. But, So first, I never had any, and this is the, some of the rawest experiences you could have is like when you dive deep with the shrooms or the DMT. So for me to have those experiences and never come across any named deities, that was like, showing me something. And here it is, that's why I say it's more refined, and, the message is more refined because, I done had multiple trips. I done had, more than enough time to sit down and really digest all of my past experiences at this point now. Hence why I haven't been on a journey, at least in about a year or two. At least for sure a year, but But I want to say about 2 years, a year and a half, And, what just came to me just now was like, being a child of, like I use this example, being a child of a certain Orisha. And this could even, again, extend to, worshiping a certain deity. And as I say this, again, this is no knock to anybody who, deal with, voodoo or Lawa, working with the Lawas, or doing, Santeria, working with Orishas, or, what's the other one? Palo Mayembe, working with the Congo Right deities, or again, Norse deities, Hindu deity, what I'm saying? Because, and then one thing to realize, especially if you're working with the energy as, again, like I made that analogy of, seeing yourself, if you are working with, some type of deity, that you're working with that deity and not worshiping that deity, and understand that, again, you are a being that, in essence, predates the creation of these deities, because, again, these deities, were quote-unquote created once they have a name. They had this on the anime, for the anime watchers, on the anime, the time I reincarnated as slime, sounds crazy, but it's, when I watched it, I teared up watching it because of how much, truth was in it, in essence. It felt like one of my DMT trip experiences. But bringing that up because basically on one of the parts in one of the realms, everything was nameless and things didn't evolve or change, in essence, till they were given a name. Like, and it kind of had the little connection to, the story of Adam going in the Garden of Eden and giving a command to, name all the things in the garden, you know what I'm saying? But swinging it back to, being, worshiping a deity, in essence. It's like saying you're a child of one of the wardens of the jailhouse, you know what I'm saying? Because, again, these deities, certain deities are only creations within this matrix, within this earthly plane. Not good or bad, not right or wrong. That's just what it is. So again, being a child or a worshiper of a certain deity is like being a child or worshiper of the wardens of the jailhouse, or like being a worshiper or a child of one of the algorithms of the matrix. You know what I'm saying? And again, this takes a level of, for me, not being in my ego, delivering this message. And again, not being in your ego, listening to this message. Because again, using the analogy, a hit dog gonna holler, you know what I'm saying? Ratchet, I know, but it's real, in the sense of, I always use that example. Like if somebody came to me and said, the New Orleans Saints ain't shit, you know what I'm saying? Or the New Orleans Saints ain't a good football team, or, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm from Louisiana, Like if I identify strongly as a Saints fan, or, you know, again, identify strongly with this part of the Matrix, this football team in the Matrix, then I'm gonna be like, oh no, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, the Saints is this and that. You know, don't talk down on the Saints and it, you know. But if I'm not overly identified with, you know, that football team in the Matrix, you know, I'm going to ignore that comment. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to go back and forth. And also a part of not going back and forth is also, in essence, knowing yourself and your connection with, you know, in this example, the football team, but in the sense of like, you know, like, if I know my football team is good, you know what I'm saying, or I like my football team regardless of whether they're good or not, then I don't have to fuss with somebody to prove that, you know what I'm saying? Like, they could say whatever they want. I'ma still like my football team the way I like my football team. So the same thing with, you know, we're working with, you know, certain deities, you know, or even if you choose to, you know, worship or make yourself like a underling under a certain deity or entity, you know, if somebody speaks on a certain truth and they're not trying to knock you, they just speaking on a certain truth of it, you know, if you know your connection is real, or, you know, whatever you're doing, you know what I'm saying, is on point, you don't have to prove or fuss with nobody, you know what I'm saying, about these things. But again, you know, it's like working with the WARdens of the jailhouse or working with the algorithms of the Matrix. And think about that. Like, if you're in a jailhouse working with the WARden, you know, that's going to be a beneficial, you know, situation, you know what I'm saying, to some extent. You know, the WARden not going to fully try to help you, you know, get out per se. I mean, the WARden could help you get out if you know who you are, and you know how the laws of the universe work, you know, and as above, so below, or should I say, like, with the same reflection with the government, you know, there's laws in place, and there's certain rules in place where you only have to abide by these rules if you don't know who you are, you know what I'm saying, if you don't know that you're a sovereign being, you know what I'm saying, or indigenous being, you know, for example, you know, you have to abide by these certain laws or these certain rules. But if you don't know that you don't have to show up to court, you know, that these people just trying to get you to, you know, playing mind games with you, you know what I'm saying? If you don't know that, then you're gonna, you know, by your ignorance, put yourself under their rulership, in essence, you know what I'm saying? So it's like that same little connection. So again, like the government does citizens with certain laws, they can only control those who aren't in the know, those who aren't aware that they don't have to abide by certain, you know, laws, even like with the simple stuff now going on with the mask and stuff, you know what I'm saying, where, you know, a mandate doesn't mean that, you know, you have to, you know, do these things, you know. If you're aware, also though, you have to be aware of the literature that goes along with, you know, you know, like knowing that you don't have to do certain things, you know, or, you know, I say the literature, you know, just being able to, you know, speak on like, well, hey, you know, the 14th Amendment wasn't fully ratified, so technically I'm still not considered a citizen, so I don't have to have a license to drive. You know, especially because I'm traveling and not driving. Driving is for commercial purposes. I'm traveling. This is for my own personal purposes. You know what I'm saying? Like when you know something like that, and as I'm using this analogy to those, you know, hearing that, and like, you know, you got to go deeper into your research when it comes to that stuff, and, you know, stopping, quote unquote, you know, government or policing systems to, you know, preventing policing systems from, trying to get you to go to court for stuff you really don't have to go to court for. You do your due diligent research, but that's just a small bite-sized sample of, though, knowing what's up and not having to abide by certain things, But again, the warden will use you up, in a manner that lets you feel like you're free if you're unaware, you know what I'm saying? And for the most part, like I know a bunch of people who are aware of the wholeness of the situation, where they, may work with certain gods or deities, but it's just that, like, it's like tapping in with that algorithm, tapping in with that deity, but not worshiping that deity, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what I'm getting to. It's like, it's like the balance, innerstanding. And, there are different types of antagonists in the jailhouse. You got the extremists. The extremists are the polarizing beings who are only antagonists to the opposite polarity. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, the antagonist who is caught up in the dual nature of, like, this is right, they wrong, or they wrong and this is right, you know what I'm saying, type of energy, which causes a split in our being. It causes fragmentation and a lack of integrity and a lack of harmony within, and within the, within the jailhouse, within the matrix, within your bodysuit, you know what I'm saying? Now, another type of antagonist, which somewhat like the, the extremists are example of it, you know what I'm saying? Like, say, for instance, if you are in a jailhouse-like realm, a hellacious-like realm, the antagonists are going to be the beings who make it, different types. You're going to have the antagonist who makes that realm worse, you know what I'm saying? So, you got the inmates and the wardens who make the jailhouse worse, or the algorithms that makes the matrix, tough to be in. You have that form of antagonist. And then you have the antagonists, or the beings who are basically antagonists to the establishment, antagonists to, the jailhouse, antagonists to the matrix, where they don't work alongside the matrix. They're against the matrix, or against the jailhouse, or against the bodysuit, in essence. But again, that's still that one-sided extremist. It's not the harmony, integral type of antagonist. You know what I'm saying? And also, like, what came up, and basically, again, the antagonists that are against the establishment are trying to teach you how to bust out of jail. But again, more so from a place of just speaking on, like, just trying to get out, and not being present, and because this realm is mostly connected, it has all elements: fire, air, water, earth, but in essence, earth and water are the more dominant elements, you know what I'm saying? Those feminine elements, and the lower chakra elements are more dominant in this realm, you know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean that you don't have the access to the fire and air, or the, or the higher chakras. But now the antagonist that's, the truest helper, in essence, for all the inmates, matter of fact, for the gelflings and the skeksis, for those of y'all familiar with the dark crystal, the antagonist that's best for, the wholeness, integrity, and harmony, you know what I'm saying, and being able to bust out of jail, so, like, not only this antagonist is turning the jailhouse into or at least certain areas of the jailhouse into a pleasant place to be, this antagonist also is teaching you how to, bust out, but from a state of, being present, you know what I'm saying? And I guess the equivalent to, you know, the antagonist, the extreme or polarizing antagonist that's like trying to like, oh, just get out, just get out. It's almost like, in essence, you know, waiting around to transition or waiting around to die or committing suicide to try to hurry up it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta bust out of here like now type of, you know what I'm saying? Not realizing, you know, again, like, you know, you never ask yourself, well, why am I in a jailhouse? Especially if it popped up on me, almost feeling like a dream, in the sense of like, you know, when you go into a dream, you know, you don't really get the backstory per se right off the bat. You know what I'm saying? In the sense of like, you in the dream, like if I go to sleep, quote unquote, and I go to dreaming, and my dream just start off in the jailhouse, you know, and I'm in my dream going through shit, but never once, you know, stop to ask myself, well, shit, what, you know, what was before this? What, you know, how did I get here? You know, and that's a part of the experience, you know, it's like figuring out, you know, like, why am I here? You know, and that comes with the presence, you know what I'm saying? And then with that presence, you know, also figuring out, you know, what you're creating, you know, right now and, you know, moving forward into the future. So you got the antagonist, who's like I've used the term the last airbender, but when I think of like, you know, the being who's able to tap in with all the elements, you know what I'm saying? The being who, you know, knows how to tap in with the WARden or tap in with the algorithms of the matrix, you know what I'm saying? The WARdens of the jailhouse, and also knows that this, you know, the jailhouse or the matrix ain't the end all be all, you know what I'm saying? So it's the one who knows how to turn a jailhouse into, you know, a pleasant place to be, and create awareness on how to leave, you know, the place as well, you know, creating harmony within the jailhouse and outside of it, you know what I'm saying? And that comes with the presence and awareness of what's next, you know, so being present, you know, not always trying to, you know, you know, both sides of it, not always trying to hold on to the past. You know, of course, you reference the past when trying to figure out certain things in the now moment. That's important. And you know, have a vision of the future in relevance to the now moment. But, you know, again, it's like being present. And, you know, another aspect that goes into that as well is, you know, if you love yourself despite where you are, you know, so despite being in a jailhouse, despite being in a bodysuit, you know, that's not really you, you know what I'm saying? Again, this is a vehicle, you know, you are not your vehicle, you know what I'm saying? Like if I hop in a car, I'm not my car. And at the same time, I'm going to take care of my vehicle and my car while I'm here, you know, while I'm present, you know, in this moment. So again, if you love yourself despite where you are, and you have the ability to not judge the WARdens, you know, or not judge those algorithms, you know what I'm saying? Not judge the Agent Smiths, you know what I'm saying? In essence, you know, and understand that Agent Smith just a part of the program, you know what I'm saying? Agent Smith ain't as much as Agent Smith. Now, it doesn't mean, again, to allow Agent Smith or the WARdens to, you know, harm you or do anything to you in that sense of it. But again, you know, it's like having that awareness to not judge the WARden or those algorithms, you know what I'm saying? Because they just was written into the script, you know what I'm saying? So again, having that ability to love yourself and have compassion, you know, love yourself and have compassion for others despite where you are. You know, having that ability to not judge the WARdens or the other inmates, you know what I'm saying, or the other, you know, those algorithms, and know that your true origins exist beyond the jailhouse, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that your true origins exist beyond the jailhouse, beyond the matrix, beyond your bodysuit, while still being able to be present, you know, in this now moment, you know what I'm saying? Because again, you know, it's also like a parenting situation and a school situation where, you know, you in this, you know, you can also use the analogy of like, you know, instead of like a jailhouse, like being in a school, you know, and the wardens are like the principals, you know, literally, you know what I'm saying? Like these certain principalities are certain, you know, kind of like the zodiac, that goes into the zodiac signs too, in essence, and the whole like, you know, 13 energy, where you like, you know, breaking out of the 12 disciplines or disciples, you know what I'm saying? Again, learning how to work with the energies but not be controlled by them or worship them, you know what I'm saying? Because again, the thing is not to worship the zodiac sign of Capricorn or worship Saturn or worship the sun, or worship, you know, again, not worshiping the moon, worshiping the different planets, or worshiping a constellation, you know what I'm saying? Worshiping Sirius, worshiping Orion, you know. It's about awareness of how to, you know, work with these energies, but not worship these energies. And, you know, that's just what's been coming in, is like, you know, to truly understand, you know, the landscape of where we at right now, you know what I'm saying, and what we're doing, you know what I'm saying. And I say we, you know what I'm saying, it end up turning to, you know, we or us working together in essence. But, you know, again, the only person that could do what needs to be done, you know, for your inner work, you know what I'm saying, is you, you know what I'm saying, like, hence the hermiting and those moments to self, you know, it's like those moments of like the strongest revelation. Of course you get, you know, revelation and awareness when working with others, but, you know, it more so comes in strongly from sitting down and, you know, doing your own meditations, journaling, you know, again, like, you know, tapping in with your inner guidance system in some way, form, or fashion, you know what I'm saying? And ultimately, you know, having a, you know, a balance or, you know, harmonized experience. Because harmony doesn't mean that each part is acting exactly the same. Like, oh, I'm just like you, or I'm just like you. Like, no, it's, you know, a unique aspect of, you know, individuality, but working in harmony, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have, you know, individual liver, individual stomach, individual intestines, individual heart, individual lungs, individual muscles, individual bones. You know, they have their own task in the bodysuit, but they work in harmony, you know. And the same thing with the mind, body, and soul, you know what I'm saying? It's like having those aspects work in harmony, you know what I'm saying? It's not to be against my bodysuit just because it's a part of the illusion, you know what I'm saying? Or be against things in this illusion because it's a part of the illusion. It's like, you know, and that's another thing, like as source energy on the human experience, or the no thing on the human experience, you know, the mature thing to do would be to, you know, not treat, you know, these things almost like, you know, for lack of a better word, you know, putting this into this language, you know, but to treat things that are almost like your children, you know what I'm saying, in essence, you know, you don't want to, you know, it's a lack of maturity to treat your children, you know, as if, you know, they're the problem and the only reason why, you know, things are in disarray or whatever is because of them, in essence, you know. Or again, like playing that blame game, you know, that's not the mature thing to do as a being, you know what I'm saying? And although it can be tough in this realm, you know, it can be, you know, because we don't want to speak that like, oh, it's so, you know, You know, it has its moments where, you know, it feels tough, you know what I'm saying? But in a lot of cases, you know, by being aware of the information, being aware of, you know, how to apply certain spiritual aspects and really doing it, you know, it's not as tough if you're doing your due diligence, you know, with your work, with your inner and outer work, in essence, you know. But yeah, I just been feeling this, you know, this energy, you know, been coming up. Matter of fact, Asheda, Kalindi, Aya, and Terrence McKenna, you know what I'm saying? Because of course, you know, with the whole, you know, melanated bodysuit and stuff like that, you know, there are some beings who are allies within this realm that may not look like, you know, their bodysuit may not look exactly the same as yours, but they're allies to, you know, the situation nonetheless, you know what I'm saying? And again, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, you know. But I just think of, you know, with any and everybody, you know, knowing that, you know, it's about the present moment, and what you're doing presently is going to resonate, you know, throughout, you know, the past and the future, you know what I'm saying? Beyond, you know, what's going on in this bodysuit, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, again, Baba Kalindi brought up that, you know, he was like, you know, the example of like them putting coins on your eyes, you know, when you transition, or like, you know, Egyptians are Kemetic people, like, you know, having certain little gifts and presents prepared for when you transition, because it was an awareness that, you know, again, this realm is not the end all be all, and you not only want to, you know, have things straight, or should I say, it starts with having things straight in this now moment, you know, I say straight, like you know, you're lighthearted, you done release a lot of heavy karma, you know, you got your abundance right, you know, whatever that may be, you know what I'm saying? Because again, it's a reflection, you know, it's cryptocurrency now, and, you know, our natural resources, you know, but just in some way, form, or fashion, you know, having abundance and wealth for yourself and your generations to come, you know, because that reflects on your journey, you know, beyond this earthly plane, you know what I'm saying? And that's where, in essence, the seriousness comes in, you know what I'm saying? In the sense of, you know, like, yeah, it's, you know, like have fun in life, and, you know, you want to make this an enjoyable experience, but you definitely want to be accountable for, you know, are, you know, responsible with, you know, your actions and what you're doing, because it trickles down. And when we talk about, you know, and that's also connected to, you know, breaking generational curses, you know what I'm saying? You know, creating a certain level of sovereignty and independence, so you don't have to depend on, you know, the algorithms of the matrix, or the wardens of the jailhouse, or the government to take, you know, to take care of you, you know, / you know, you being under their command, you know what I'm saying? It's like stepping into knowing who you are as a being, and knowing that, you know, again, you work with these energies, you know, you work with the WARden, you work with the algorithms of the matrix, you work with this bodysuit, but you don't, you know, you don't worship it, you know. You work with your lower chakras and your higher chakras, but you don't worship your lower chakras, you don't worship your higher chakras, you know. But again, just wanted to share that refined message, you know, because again, basically what it is a constant, refining of what was said already, especially those of us who done, shared hours of, insight. At this point, it's going to be saying some of the same things, but just in a more refined manner, refining the insight, also adding little, new perspectives or should I say just new perspectives into the insight due to having accumulation of different experiences, through the whole journey, So of course things are, change a little bit in essence, but, it's definitely just, refining that, some of the same messages. But, so with that being said, again, I'm going to end off of that disclaimer as well. This is not to say don't work with, this is not to say don't, and I forgot the word for it, but venerate, it's not to say don't venerate your ancestors or connect with your ancestors. This is not to say don't tap into, your ancestral heritage of whether it's Santeria, voodoo, whatever it may be, this is not to say don't do it, it's just to have an awareness of what's truly going on. Because even, again, I think of, just different teachers speaking on that perspective of, certain deities and entities eating off of, beings' lack of awareness in this realm. There's certain deities, orishas, lawas, and different energies that eat off of, the lack of awareness of others in this matrix, And again, like I said earlier, no judgment. It's one of those things where it ain't no judgment to them eating how they eat. I just got to make sure I'm aware to not be, having my energy eaten off of like that, and know who I am to the fullest, and know that these beings could only eat off of, others through their lack of awareness or ignorance to the whole, the whole awareness of the landscape of this realm, and beyond it, I say the wholeness, not, oh, I know every single thing, but, you're aware of the things that are important to be aware of, within this realm and outside of this realm. But again, to each his own on how you connect. I'm not here telling you how to connect as much as I'm sharing a message, sharing a truth, and take what resonate, leave what don't. Because I'm not here to fuss with you or argue with you or try to convince you of this either. Me sharing this is not trying to convince you of it. You know what I'm saying? The information speaks for itself from this video, the past videos, and also literature that supports it. You know what I'm saying? But, to each his own. You know what I'm saying? But, peace. Now, the vibrate, y'all know what it is. Not too far in the future, not too far in the past. Right now. Peace.